What is up YouTube, it's Kingfisher745, and in this video I want to show you a few of my favorite non-Inhumans Karnak teams. But before we begin, I want to thank Jameson at AJ Designs for this amazing graphic. And then I also have a very special thank you for Agent Seraph1, so let's hear it for him. Now as we get started, I do want to say this first team was going to be the same team for the entire video, at least originally, but then I wanted to try another hero and I won't give him away just yet, but that team up ended up being way more exciting. So long story short, this is going to be the only matchup where I show Luke Cage and Karnak, at least in this video. But don't get me wrong, they're a great team, they were easy to win with, they both have preemptive strikes, and Karnak can easily place combo setup while Luke Cage will exploit it. I mean, what's not to like? The only thing about our opponents that's holding us back is that Mystic. Luckily they didn't use it on our agent, so we can still use the Blackest Void. And also it's not going to stop the Breaker of Worlds debuffs. So we can still use You're Not Worthy, and then we're going to hit Groot with Ragnarok'em Sock'em. I like to at least get 3 stacks of Divine Hammer before I use his level 9. Alright, and we get a Fracture Flaw and a Fatal Fist. That is a lot of alliteration. And then we even get another Fatal Fist. I was actually very tempted to give my agent a preemptive counter weapon as well, but I really like the setup that he has. However, for this turn we're only going to use the Blackest Void, and then we'll wait until next round to use all our debuffs. Just a few things about our setup. We have the Pressurized Augmented ISO 8 on Luke Cage's level 1 Fatal Fist. This is going to cause pressure points debuffs. Then Karnak has it on his level 1, once again because of the pressurized A-ISO, and his level 6 has it normally. Then we have the Quick Action Neuropurge, which also has pressure points, and the Hand of Apocalypse, which has Paragon Exploiter. By the way, if you weren't familiar with Karnak, his level 9 also has Paragon Exploiter, Fatal Blow, and is a guaranteed hit and crit. Now keep all of this in mind because even though this team up works out quite well, the next team is really going to put all of this to use. Now after Null unleashes World Breaker, the enemy team is in very serious trouble. Groot is going to give himself a second turn, and with that he'll heal a little bit more. But call me pessimistic, I don't think he's going to make it that much longer. In this round with my agent, it's time to use all of our quick actions, starting with the Light Fantastic. Next I'm going to use Fire Tornado and exhaust all the enemies. And by the way, this debuff makes Null absolutely worthless on defense. If you don't know, you'll see what I mean. Next we're going to use Momentary Advantage, followed by the Neuropurge. And then finally we can attack twice with the hand. Since we want to knock out the enemy agent, we'll go ahead and target Null, and the agent will step up and protect. Then with our second hit, we'll go ahead and hit Luke Cage. I don't expect this to finish him, but it should do a decent amount of damage. Then on his turn, he's going to take Meteor Swarm damage. And you know what? 99% of the time when he's exhausted, he'll use You're Not Worthy and never ever attack. So I have no idea why he attacked there. But trust me, that usually works. And I've shut him down many times on defense. Either way though, he is gone now, so we'll go ahead and hit Groot. And I believe he's going to die to his dots. So you only have about 5 more seconds to guess who the next team up is going to be. Last 10, he was one of my favorite characters for a long time and I used him on many teams. Alright, so let me know if you guessed Captain Britain in the comment section below. This guy was an absolute powerhouse, and he even dominated the second half of the first PvP season right after he was released. He was that good, he made an immediate impact. Mainly because of his smashing, which stunned the entire enemy team, and his high damage plus extra turns. I used them to land some of my biggest hits to this day. But enough reminiscing, the reason this team is going to work is 2 words: pressure points. Speaking of that debuff set, let's start by using the Quick Action Neuropurge. Next we'll use a Fire Tornado. And you know what, I was just thinking this battle feels really clinical. We're going to be very precise in that we're even going to use the hand on Havoc. That way we can gain tactical maneuvers, and then with that, we'll go ahead and use the Blackest Void. We'll do that just to clear any debuffs that remain. Okay, the only hiccup is we did end up missing, but there's nothing we can do about that. So, now that the enemy team is disoriented, maybe Iron Fist will attack his own teammate. Or maybe he'll just go ahead and hit my agent. Then with our Karnak, I'm going to use Fracture Flaw on Havoc. This is going to place disadvantage, so he won't be able to get anything special from our bruiser, aka focused attacks, and also it's going to place some pressure points debuffs. And we end up getting a preemptive fracture flaw anyways, so I guess we could have used our level 6. Honestly, that thought did cross my mind. But you know what they say, hindsight is 20/20. Now with Captain Britain, I want to check out what debuffs the enemies have, that way we can see what they need. And it appears to be slowed, so I should have used smashing, but instead we use right as might. Our right as might does have the pressurized AISO, so that means it does have pressure points. But honestly, in the next round, it's not even going to matter. Just wait until you see what I have in store. First of all, let's use the light fantastic, that way we can clear all these debuffs, including exhausted. Then unfortunately, that's going to be the end of our agent's turn. Then with the enemy Iron Fist up next, let's go ahead and see what he does. Well, at least he's consistent. He's going to use his level 1 once again on our agent. Now with Karnak, he's no longer exhausted, so we can use his level 2. And then after that, check out this amazing level 9. Shatter Strike having Paragon Exploiter and guaranteed crit with Fatal Blow is absolutely incredible. And since we knocked out Havoc, we didn't have to worry about Exhausted, and we can use Britannic on the enemy agent. This does an epic overkill and gives us another turn. So with that, we can also one-shot Iron Fist. Now if you had any doubt how good Captain Britain was, just wait until you see what he does against this high-powered defense. Okay, so we're facing a 19,000 health Gamora and Pestilence Beast team, and Captain Britain gets to lead it off. So we're going to use his right as might, but the question is, who should we hit? Honestly, all of them are good targets, but we're going to go ahead and focus on the enemy agent. So let's go ahead and let him have it. And then after that, Karnak's also going to get a preemptive attack with the Fracture Flaw. Oh no, bad news, he does have the weather control device. And for some reason the AI does use Hailstorm, but trust me, that's not a great thing to get hit with either. Mainly what's going to hurt is the bleeding. But now that it's Karnak's turn, I'm going to go ahead and use our level 6 Probe Leverage Blow on the enemy agent. And after that, Gamora is most likely going to use, of course, Demoralizing Shout. So now with my agent, we're going to use the Fire Tornado, and this should really help us out because, first of all, Pestilence Beast will either have to use his quick action or attack, but since he'll be exhausted, he can't do both. It's also going to severely limit the enemy agent on his next turn. Then after that, we use the Neuropurge, and I debated using the hand, which would do a decent amount of damage and make sure the agent's below survival training, but instead I decided to go with Disoriented, or in other words, the Blackest Void. Alright, so let's go ahead and see what the enemy Pestilence Beast is going to do. Unfortunately, our Fracture Flaw misses, but the Disoriented pays off right away because he hits his own agent. So now, with Captain Britain, we're going to use Britannic, hoping that we can get a big crit. Sadly, we leave him at 7,777 HP. But the good news is we get another shot. And this time, he doesn't fail. Now with the enemy agent down, it's looking pretty decent for our team, right? Well, that's what I thought too. But remember, we do have Doom. I know we have it, you know we have it, but I hardly ever do the right thing and pass. I mean, who wants to watch a video where I just pass? And hey, Shatter Strike was almost worth a shot, but ultimately it failed. So now Gamora is of course going to use, well, after getting hit with a Fracture Flaw, she's going to go ahead and use her Whirlwind. Just like that, we went from a good position to just about being knocked out. And now winning may be out of the question, especially with this pesky bleeding. Man, I'm telling you, it actually is a very bad thing. I didn't realize it at the time, but let's go ahead and use a Hailstorm ourselves. So now we finally gave them a taste of their own bleed, and we're down to below 500 HP on our agent. So with what could be his final action, well, it's definitely going to be his final action because we're going to go out using the hand. And with Agent Fisher's last breath, we're going to try to take Gamora out with us. Once again, we come up short, but still, we at least did some damage. And of course, we went out on our shield. Now the only good news is Pestilence Beast is most likely going to target Karnak. And we still have the man, the myth, the legend, Captain Britain. So you're saying there's a chance. Well, first of all, we have to use Britannic to take out Gamora, and we easily do so. Then right after that, Pestilence Beast gets Oh My Stars and Garters, and we get another turn. With that turn, let's wind up for another Britannic, and it does over 17,000 and wins the match. So there you have it, Karnak in action and Captain Britain back in action. However, that is going to be it for this video, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Lastly, I'd like to thank you all for watching and ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, good luck and take care.